The next story I wanted to talk about is about Greg Locke. I talked about him last week, too. He's been saying some really weird shit lately. Specifically, he's kind of famous for saying that, like, Tom Hanks is a clone or some other nonsense like that. That's a popular sentiment going around extreme right-wing circles recently. But he released another video the other day, so I wanted to give you guys a little catch-up on who this is. Let's watch this clip. This is his famous Dunkin' Donuts video. This is where he went into a Dunkin' Donuts right in the middle of the pandemic when everything really started hitting and they finally set up mask mandates throughout the entire country. And he was trying to get his coffee and donuts or whatever the fuck. And the Dunkin' Donuts manager came out and asked him to put a mask on when he comes back. And he completely disintegrated. So let's watch this clip. And then we'll watch his newest clip.
Not bowing down. I am not in compliance. I am in utter defiance of this. Listen, I'll go to jail over this situation. It is the golden calf. I'm sick of Christians saying things like this. Well, it's just a mask. You know what they used to say? Oh, it's just a baby. It's just a zygote. It's just a growth in the mother's womb. So let's kill it. No, it's not just a mask. It's a compliance device. This is not about safety. This is about surrendering of our rights.
This guy is so fucking cringy. I cannot stand it. He's sitting here claiming it's a compliance device and that we're sheep. I bet he uses the term sheeple unironically. Let's keep watching.
About surrendering of our rights. Can I remind you, this is still the United States of America. This is not communism.
What is an economic system where the state controls the means of production and supply? What does that have to do with wearing masks? Is he just using it as a buzzword? Love this face shot of him here. I'm going to use this in the thumbnail.
Not communism. This is not China. This ain't North Korea. I don't live in Haiti. I don't live some other country somewhere where I'm under the guise of communism and socialism. This is the United States of America. Y'all hear me? Trump 2020.
He is so embarrassing. I can't stand it. He probably doesn't even realize how embarrassing he's being right now. Let's listen to that one more time for good measure so you guys can get a nice good cringe in. That's rough. We made it through, though. We made it through together. So that's Greg Locke. I'm sure a lot of you guys knew who he was already. I just want to give you a little bit of background on him, just in case you weren't aware. That's where he really, really got famous. That's where the public, that's where the country's eye came in on him. That's where they all saw him, was from that situation. This is his brand new clip. This is from July 13th, 2021. Let's give this one a watch and see what he says.
The last 15 or 16 months has really just been a dress rehearsal. You know, I tell people it's not the mark of the beast. I get that, but it is a precursor for the beast system, because now we know what churches are going to close. We know who's going to roll over. We know who's going to stand up. They already know.
Oh my God. So he's saying that the last 15 or 16 months were a test run, I guess, basically. That's pretty much when COVID started, right? So he's saying they were doing a test run to see which churches would fold, which would give up, and which would basically fight, right? I talked about this earlier in the podcast with Stu Peters, but Stu Peters is outright calling for violence. Like, he has been demonizing Anthony Fauci for a while now, and I definitely call that stochastic terrorism. Absolutely. He's encouraging stochastic terrorism is what he's doing. Let's see if Greg Locke does the exact same thing here. It sounds like he's kind of headed down that road.
They already know. And so I tell people they know who's going to be a problem and they know who's not. Well, I'm going to be a problem. Okay, I have no trouble with that. I'm going to be a problem. I'm going to be a rebel rouser, because when tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes biblical.
There's his justification for violence. Boom. I was wondering if he was going to give us a biblical justification for it. Fascinating thing about the Bible is that it's a collection of 66 books, thousands and thousands of pages, written across thousands of years by dozens, maybe hundreds of different authors. There are contradictions all through it, beginning to end. It espouses a different view for every day of the week. If you want the Bible to say something, you can find a verse to support it. That's how it was written. It's a completely nonsensical, jumbled mess for the most part. You can pull a parable from here or there, or an idea or a belief from here or there. But ultimately, the Bible says what you want it to say, really. The Bible reads the way you want it to. So when I hear somebody like Greg Locke telling us the Bible supports rebellion, I know that's just his personal belief. I know that's who he is on the inside. When he lays his head on the pillow at the end of the night and closes his eyes and there's nobody there but him, inside, he wants a fight. He wants rebellion. I mean, physical rebellion. He wants a 1776 kind of event. That's what he is looking for.
Becomes biblical. And I don't think people understand that fact. Everybody wants to quote Romans 13. I know pastors in the United States of America that I've preached for, that if this would have been, Nazi Germany, they would have been the first person to put a Jew on a boxcar and then start quoting Bible verses about Romans 13 and how we ought to obey the governing authorities.
Before we go any further, I just want to verify what Romans 13 says. To obey the laws of the government because God has ordained them for the purpose of order. Quote unquote. That's what Romans 13 says, basically. So pretty much follow the laws of the country that you live in so as not to cause waves or cause problems. I mean, Jesus even said, pay back to Caesar that which is Caesar's, right? In support of paying taxes, basically. The Bible, in many cases, has been supportive of obeying the government and paying your taxes and things like that. But like I said, if you want the Bible to say something, if you want to pull a specific message from it, it's easy. There's a verse for everything in there. Not cherry picking the Bible is impossible because it's just a billion different verses all laid out scattershot practically. Greg Locke wants physical war with non-believers. That's what he wants. I mean, that's what I'm picking up from what he's saying.
Verses about Romans 13 and how we ought to obey the governing authorities. These are Acts chapter 5 days. We have to obey God rather than man.
This guy is literally hoping for and encouraging to some degree violence. I believe this guy should lose his platform too, just like Stu Peters, for the exact same reasons I explained in my previous video. If you're wondering what my views are on that, then go watch my Stu Peters video just released a few days ago. Let's watch the next clip from Greg Locke. This is July 16th.
I had a very, very strong opinion that Donald Trump would win by a landslide. Well, first of all, ultimately, he did win by a landslide.
Okay, is there any evidence? Or is he just going to say that shit all willy-nilly? Just say whatever the fuck he wants with absolutely no evidence at all. I can say anything I want too. I have a parrot that has 180 IQ. There, I said anything that I wanted. Didn't matter if it was true or not. Doesn't matter if I have evidence or not. I can do the exact same fucking thing.
We know anybody with a Bible and half a brain can figure out that something nefarious happened in the middle of the night.
You can sit here and say something nefarious happened in the middle of the night. But first of all, what the fuck does that mean? And second, is there any evidence? Please, I will take anything at this point. Give me anything.
If my team, if I'm coaching a team and my team wins the championship and we put the trophy in my house, if the opposing team breaks in and steals the trophy and takes it and puts it in their trophy case, that doesn't mean I didn't win the tournament. It means those crooks broke in and stole the trophy from me.
This guy is seriously still laying into this? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Nobody broke in and stole the trophy. They counted the votes and recounted them and recounted them and recounted them like a billion fucking times, and it was affirmed. Every state individually affirmed, even the Republicans, that Biden won. Much as he hates that fact, much as he is pissed off at Pence or whoever else for not changing things to make his guy win instead, that's just not how it went. Biden won. The evidence all points to Biden being the victor. If you have some evidence to refute it or prove otherwise, please give it to us. I'm waiting.
So even if I said, I prophesy, which I didn't, I just predicted, even if I were to say that.
Okay, well, to be fair, the guy, I'll tell you what the guy did. There were some pastors that I was following out there who were actually prophesying that Trump was going to win. Hank Kunneman and others, a bunch, right? Johnny Enlow. That isn't exactly what Greg Locke did. Greg Locke came out and said he was 100%, 110% sure Trump is going to win. He knows it. He was speaking as a pastor from the pulpit and said he's 110% sure of something that he couldn't possibly be that sure about unless it was divine revelation. He didn't come out and say God told him that, but that's the impression everybody got. So I guess, to be fair, he's telling the truth here, at least halfway. He didn't say it was a prophecy from God, like Johnny Enlow and others did, sticking their feet in their mouth. But he definitely implied it heavily. I'll give him a pass on that one, I guess.
Even if I were to say that, I'm still right because the man won. The fact that he didn't stay in power is still yet to be determined.
No, it isn't. This has all been resolved already, like a long fucking time ago. Like months and months ago. We're coming up on a fucking year at this point. And this guy still can't accept it.
Okay, I know everybody's like QAnon conspiracy theories. There is nobody on the planet that would disagree with the fact that the military does not listen to Joe Biden. They do not take zero orders from Joe Biden. The guy can't even get in the Pentagon, okay? He can barely even state his name in public. It's not even allowed in the Pentagon.
Is there any evidence for this? Any. I will take anything. Again, please. I want the evidence. If you're right, I want to be right too. Why doesn't he release the evidence on his website? There's always some excuse to cover this up and protect him from having to release it. There is no evidence. He's just saying shit and doesn't give a shit if it's true or not. He's going to believe it's true anyways.
I know some very high-ranking officials. We've had a lot of people in our church. I have the privilege to jet set with some of the biggest, if you will, players in the political game.
Oh, please. This is so fucking cringy. You know, Larry Gators did this earlier too, didn't he? He's saying he had like FBI contacts and shit, and now Greg Locke is sitting here bragging about... Isn't pride one of the 7 deadly sins or something like that? Why are they so, like, obsessed with themselves and how great they are and how cool and how many people they know? This is fucking cringy, really. Please, just don't do that.
I'm honored as a hillbilly from Nashville to have such a dauntingly massive platform. That is humbling. And I'm telling you, the people that understand what's going on recognize that they can say what they want to. Joe Biden is not in control of this thing. He's just not. I'm not prophesying that Trump's coming back in the next...
No, but he's still making a claim. He's still making a claim that Joe Biden is not in control of things. That implies somebody else is. That is a positive claim, and I need evidence for it.
He's just not. I'm not prophesying that, Trump's coming back in the next few weeks, next few months. I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think God's done. And I think there's a great level of exposure that's about to take place that is going to shock people beyond amazement. But there's not one person in the military that would tell you that they're taking orders from Joe Biden. Absolutely not.
I don't think anybody in the military takes orders from Joe Biden except for like the Joint Chiefs of Staff and, the other people at the top, right? Are the FBI, NSA, and CIA part of the military? I don't know that I guess they're not considered part of the military, but they're part of the executive branch at least, and he calls the shots for them too. This guy lives in a delusional pretend fucking world. Like he lives in a separate reality from us. Seriously. I don't know where his head is, but it's not with the rest of us.